Welcome to, hey, that's great news.
I know.
Again, it's the top of the hour, and welcome to our program. I'm Jody, and I am here with my friends and my mastermind partners, Whitney, Gabby, and Cheryl. And you'll hear from them in just a minute when they tell you a little bit more about themselves. Now, if you are joining us here for the second or the third or the fourth or fifth, or I don't know, how many have we done of these ladies? We've done a few, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if you're joining us again, drop us a note in the chat. Let us know if you have been with us before. And guess what? There's a bonus. If you can remember what success principle we were teaching that night. So drop us a note, let us know, and we really appreciate you coming back and joining us again. We love and welcome your input, and we also welcome any suggestions that you may have. If there's a particular principle you'd like us to chat about, just let us know. And if you are here for the very first time, a big welcome to you. Let us know in the chat if you are a first timer and where you're from. That is always fun to know. And we are excited that you are here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, for those of you who are here for the very first time, I want to give you a quick little overview of our group. So what the four of us have in common is we have all been certified by Jack Canfield to teach success principles. So perhaps you're familiar with Jack Canfield. He is the best-selling author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. So say yes in the comments if you've read Chicken Soup, right? Or if you're familiar with Jack Canfield. And after Jack experienced so much success, I mean, there's so many titles all around the world, success, Chicken Soup for the Soul series, that he went on to write about his success and the principles he used to get there. Well, the four of us, being curious and lifelong learners, said, you know what? I want to know more about that. So we all certified with Jack, and that's what we get to teach, and that is what we love doing. So that's why we are here and what brought us here tonight. And just so that you know, a mastermind group is one of the success principles. It will help you, a mastermind group will help you accelerate your success.
Yes.
Because, many of you, maybe you work for yourselves and you don't have a boss to hold you accountable. Or if you do have a boss to hold you accountable, you don't have anybody holding you accountable to your own personal goals. And maybe sometimes you need some resources or you need to ask somebody for help. Well, guess what? That's what we do as a mastermind group. So we meet once a week. We share our goals, what we intend to do for the coming week. We celebrate our successes, and we ask for some resources and some help when we need it. And ladies, maybe that would be a suggestion. Maybe one of our classes can be about how to form and run a mastermind group.
Mastermind group. Yes.
Yeah, for those of you who want to do it. And for the last several months, once a month, we meet right here in the Reset for Success Facebook group, and we have a quick little teaching and lots of discussion around one of the success principles. And tonight's topic, drum roll please, yay! Woohoo! One of our favorite topics is the law of attraction. So get ready to raise your vibes, folks. So if you are curious about what law of attraction is, how it works, how to make it work for you, I have a hunch you're going to love this class. Say yes if you're in. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so before we take a deep dive, why don't we, each of my friends here has, besides teaching the success principles, which we all have in common, they all have their own niche and specialty that they love to teach. So let's meet them, and the way I see them is Whitney, Gabby, and Cheryl. So Whitney, go ahead, Whitney.
Oh, you got that started so well. I'm all excited and ready to go.
Let's break out the pom-poms.
I was going to bring a lemon drop, but pom-pom.
Oh, yeah, that's even better.
Pom-poms work too. I'm Whitney Wiley, and I am a organizational leadership and employee development strategist. I basically help my clients with their organizational needs, succession planning, working with employees, developing their leaders, etc., and helping employees and others, and those particularly interested in moving, say, from being an employee to an entrepreneur, in working through their career management and transition. So I've been doing that for a while. I love, love, love helping people to do work that they love. I have a podcast. It's called Love Your Work. I've had Cheryl on the show. I know for sure Gabby and Jody still need to come on. We had a former another member who was a member of our group that I had on the show, but you guys will have to come on the show. And if you're doing work that you love and that's something you think you'd be interested in, drop me a DM. I would love to talk with you about that. Again, I'm all about people doing work that they love and using the law of attraction as a way to get there is a wonderful thing. And I know one of our group members today has a super awesome example and something that's happened recently that I think is a great example of the law of attraction at work, in your work. So, and I'll share a story or two of mine as well. So that's a little bit about me.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, so I am Gabi Abdelgadir. I am also, like my friends here, I'm a success principal trainer. I am also a certified the Lin Method clutter clearing coach. I am a feng shui practitioner, and I am also an author. And the law of attraction, I know what, Whitney, you're talking about me when you mentioned that, right?
I didn't call anybody out. I wouldn't
Yeah,
do that.
okay. Okay, so I have been still working full time, and I was laid off last week, and other people probably would be upset, but I had this huge weight lifted off of me. And the law of attraction is, when I knew this was coming, and I was saying, like, I hope the CEO would at least give me pay me for 6 months in advance to give me time to work on my personal stuff, take a break, and then, you know, focus on my business. But I ended up getting a year payout, which, according to anybody, it has never existed before. Nobody has ever heard about it before. So this is what the law of attraction is. I asked for something and the universe gave me double of that. So believe, when you really want something, it's not about just wishing, it's about vibrating emotionally. And emotionally, you have to have the feeling of wanting that thing. And it's not just a one time of, you have to be consistent with it. And trust me, it will show up maybe better than you anticipated. So that's my thing today.
Wow. I don't
And
know
if
how to follow that.
I know.
All right, folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us.
Exactly. And that's the law of attraction. See ya.
I know.
Well, congratulations, Gabby.
Thank you so much.
My name is Cheryl Mays, and my company is called Rise and Shine Consulting and Coaching Firm. And I love, it's amazing when you wake up and you can literally say, I do love doing what I do. And so I get to help businesses look at their processes, their strategies, and now I'm focusing on helping them look at their customers' experience. How do you retain your existing customers so that you can minimize your time, your resources, and all of the costs on marketing to new customers? And so I get to do that, and I love being able to do that because it gives you an opportunity to kind of look at it from a different viewpoint. To look at it from the eye of the customer and use customer first thinking. The other thing that I get to do that I love, and that's to work with new leaders, emerging leaders that have been successful in their roles. And now they're at a point where they want to put their name in the hat. They want to become a director, a manager. They're moving up. They're moving up the ladder and yet they don't feel as though they have all of the tools necessary to be effective. And so I have a toolkit that I share with leaders to help them in the four main elements of being an effective and efficient leader. In addition to that, I get to help individuals every day that is looking to enhance their goals. What is it they're trying to accomplish? How to get from where they are to where they're going. And they need a guide. They need someone to walk along this journey with them, to help them look at things from a different point of view, and to help them by providing strategies and techniques that allows them to see the results, to sustain those results so that they can continue to move forward in the multiple areas of their lives. And I am a Jack Canfield happy trainer. I am a happy Jack Canfield trainer because I use the success principles before I even knew they had terms and before they were called success principles. I was literally using them in my career. So when I came to the point of knowing that there were actual principles, and there's 67 of them, I realized that what I was doing and why I was being so effective was because I was utilizing them in the manner in which they were written. And it wasn't until after the fact that I could go back and go, wow, that's why those things have happened. Because it's oftentimes when we look back, right, that hindsight is 2020. And so we have the ability to kind of look back. And this group, I love this group because we hold one another accountable. Yeah. We keep one another moving forward. I don't think any of us have had the ability to kind of stand still or to be stagnant or to take steps backwards, because there's always someone else that's saying, hey, have you thought about this? Have you tried this? And this is what I've done. And so we keep each other motivated. Yeah. We keep each other engaged, and we keep each other moving forward. And as Jody spoke to earlier, that's the benefit of being in a mastermind, that you have individuals that are literally holding you accountable. And, you know, that's the great thing about it, because when we're on this journey, and sometimes we don't have a fan band, right? We don't have that band following us, cheering us on and supporting us. We might not have family members that are saying, yes, you got this, go do this. And so we need people in our lives that are inspiring, that are motivating, that are passionate, that are grateful, that are open-minded, that you can literally look at and go, okay, I can do this. And I can do this because I have a band, right? I have a band of people playing instruments that singing my song. so that's why I
like playing the drums and
there you go, exactly, right? Everybody has their own instrument, and together we make such beautiful music.
Beautiful music.
Yes, we do.
Oh, thanks for that, Cheryl. So I am Jody Santangelo-Ash, and I love teaching success principles. And for so many years, like since the late 90s, I've been practicing and teaching law of attraction because it's had such a profound effect on my life. So I love helping people, who are stuck in relationships that don't work, attract their ideal relationships, or stuck in jobs that aren't fulfilling, attract their ideal customers, clients, et cetera, et cetera. So law of attraction specifically has been one of my signature programs for a very long time. So we're so excited that you are all here. Now, y'all, some people might be on the program that, maybe they've heard of law of attraction, but they're not sure what it really is. And so I like to use this example because I'm pretty sure that everybody has experienced this. So y'all answer me, and in the group, in the chat, if you're when watching, you could say yes if this has happened to you. Have you ever gotten that phone call that came from out of the blue and you said, oh my God, I was just thinking about you and then you called. What a coincidence. Have you had that experience?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Or, maybe you're thinking about a vacation with your family and you're talking about, maybe we could go here, maybe we could go there. And you're thinking about destinations. And then you turn on the TV and there's a commercial about that destination you were just talking about. And then you say, well, isn't that freaky? Well, all that.
You're saying that's a law of attraction and not Mark Zuckerberg.
Right. So all of that freakiness is evidence of law of attraction. And then we say things like, oh my gosh, it was pure luck that I got that position. Or it's karma, fate, chance, luck, serendipity, synchronicity. It came from out of the blue. It fell into my lap. Oh my gosh. Well, guess what? All of that is evidence of law of attraction working in your life.
Yeah.
And so, law of attraction is simply in our universe, there are certain unchanging laws, and law of attraction is one of them. And so,
Yeah.
law of attraction is just a science. It's not just some feel-good spiritual principle, it is a science. Just like law of gravity is a science, right? Law of gravity says if our light should fall hanging from the ceiling, it come loose, it's going to fall. And of course, we can't see it or taste it or touch gravity, but we have always known as a kid, if we dropped the fork, it was going to fall. So law of attraction is a science too. And I wish I could put it in a little petri dish, right? And say, here, everybody, and pass it around. This is law of attraction. See here, can y'all see? But of course, we can't do that. But what we do know for sure is that if you practice the principles of law of attraction, you'll experience evidence of it working in your life too.
Yeah.
So ladies, who has a comment about what law of attraction is or how it works? And then maybe later on we can talk about some tools to help people apply to in their life. So what are your comments about what law of attraction is or how it works or how you've seen it working?
Okay, can I give an example of what
Yeah.
happened to me? So I think it was back in 2011, I had broken my leg and I was like technically couldn't walk for 3.5 months. And then I remembered that I had a DVD of The Secret, the movie The Secret, right? So every day people used to come help me make breakfast, give me my meds and this, and they go. And I tell my son, can you put The Secret for me, to the extent that he started to roll his eyes because I was watching it every day. And then I remember this particular one day and I said, I loved all of them, but there is something about Bob Proctor and the sound of his voice, because he started the intro and I said, I am going to meet you one day in person. Honestly, this is how I pointed to the TV. I'm going to meet you. Guess what? 4 months later, I had a brunch with him in Los Angeles at Marriott Hotel. We sat there, had a brunch together, we masterminded, and we did that. So if that is not the law of attraction, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
That's one example. I can tell you so many examples, but that was one example that I can give you.
If I can make a point about that, Gabby, the point about that is when you just demonstrated that you looked right into the TV and said, I'm going to meet you.
Yeah.
So that is such a powerful energy when you can
Yeah.
decide, right?
Yeah.
Have y'all ever been in a relationship and you're like, oh, I am so done with that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm so done with that. I'm never doing that again. So that's a really powerful energy. And sometimes it takes people to get to that point before they make a change.
They manifest.
And
Yeah.
you said, I am going to meet you. So that is really deciding is a really powerful energy. So anyway,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Yeah.
Y'all go.
Yeah. Go, ladies.
Go ahead, Whitney.
You're muted,
Whitney,
hon.
you're muted.
I'm muted. I saw that. I'm talking and I'm muted. So a couple of things you guys just said. One, starting with it's energy, right? This is about energy. Thoughts are energy. And so when we have thoughts and we put it out into the universe, when we are in prayer, when we are in meditation, when we are leading with gratitude and appreciation, right? It creates this energy and a vibration. It starts to attract those things that we're thinking about, that we're focused on, that we're grateful for, that we are appreciative of, right? So that's one side. It's energy and it's attracting. Like attracts like, which means you have to be really careful about what you're thinking about and what you are saying, the words that you're using, the thoughts that you're thinking, because just as the law of attraction works for positive things, it works for bringing, a year's worth of salary instead of 6 months. It works for, healing.
That's what we don't like, the
right? Healing broken legs and things like that, and meeting people that we want to meet. If your mind is focused on negative things, it will attract the negative things just as well. So, your mind is constantly looking for a way to give you what you want. And it doesn't know really the difference between what you want and what you say you want, right? It just knows what's floating around up in there. So you've got to be really careful. And then the other part is that words just matter. Words matter. And so you've got to pick your words carefully. You need to think about what it is you're saying, whether or not the words that come out of your mouth are a curse, or they're a blessing on other people. And that back to the energy that you're putting out to other people, that will come back to you. So,
Oh, yes.
all of this is really important. And as we continue this discussion, we'll get into some of that. I would say an example for me, and one of the things that I have really focused on over the course of the last 2 years is I made a decision to be a giver, right? That my purpose is to prove that God is, and then to trust that the desires of my heart that he provides, because I'm in alignment with him. So my energy and vibration is in alignment with God's will. And that's how I operate. And so my responsibility is to love, to serve, and to give. And as I do that, right, with the intention of just being and not necessarily looking to have, not doing things for the sole purpose of getting, but truly being in alignment, that the things that I want have come. And one of the things that's important about the law of attraction is that we see it as being about effortless ease, right? And that we can put this intention out, have attention on it, and then the expectation of receiving in return. And when we do that, you people call it a miracle, right? That something like what happened to Gabby, that's a miracle. But it's not a miracle. It is the vibration that she's put out there. She didn't mention the nice things her CEO said about her, right? And in the process of letting her, what she brings to the table, what she brought to that organization, what she had her coworkers feel because of being in her presence, all of that mattered and manifested into the blessing that she got as a part of that. So, it's not just, I think I want something and then it's going to fall out of the sky, right?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. It's not that it's just going to show up, FedEx dude or the UPS guy just shows up with the things that you look for. There's a part for you to play in that. And all of that is involving the energy, the vibration that you're putting out, the words that you're using, the blessing that you are to other people, what you give to other people. And so I was saying, one of the things that is as part of my business and making a choice to be a giver in that was that I was going to trust that people would start to come to me to ask me to do things, to be in business with them, to collaborate with them. And it's happening, right? It's happening. And it instead of me having to, beg for business to go out, I just do what I do and trust that the things that I have set my intentions on, that they will come to me.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, love it. And to add to that, like when you say, like when you give without expectation in return, trust me, the universe would send you abundance and opportunities from places you never anticipated or you never expected before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, a case in point is being with you guys, right? This was not ever part of my plan 2 years ago, right? Meeting you,
You
And-
attracted us. We attracted
Absolutely.
you.
We were on her wish list.
And we did that for each other, which is another part. It's not just you. There is the will. Everyone's got a will, right? We live in a world of free will, and all of these wills are going about. But one of the things that I think is really important in the law of attraction and just having a positive mental attitude in general is knowing that all of whatever's going on is working out for my best and highest, right? It's working out for the best and highest of all of us. That doesn't mean that every single thing that happens is fun, rainbows and unicorns, right? It doesn't mean that, but it means that even those things are for our best and highest good. And maybe you don't see it in the moment, but eventually it will unfold.
Yeah.
Mhm. Cheryl,
Absolutely.
what say you?
Everything that you guys said. But it's true, right? It is. It's everything that you guys said. And, you know, I take it to where when I think about the law of attraction, it is that vibrational energy that we just expel. And it's also believing that it's possible,
Yes.
right? It's believing that it's possible. And I know when I think about things, I'm always thinking about the next level, right? It's like, okay, what does that next level look like for me? That's what keeps me moving forward, is always thinking about, okay, what's going to happen? You know, that's just, how can I top this? What's going to happen? You know, that's going to allow me to help more people. What's going to happen that's going to allow me to expose, you know, services to more people? What is that next level even look like? And so it's when I think about the possibilities, then it's amazing because opportunities just kind of show up. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I think I'll go for it. And it just kind of showed up in front of me. You know, so it's those opportunities and resources that you don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to get there to the next level, but you know that the next level is in your vision. And I think about that when I think about one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to write for a magazine. And I wanted to write for a magazine that kind of showcased your expertism.
Yeah.
It gave you the ability to help individuals in a much a massive way, and individuals that are all over, you know, the world, so that your voice is you know, more profound in all regions. And so here's what's so interesting is that I can't even remember how I got to this person, but I got to this person and they were talking about, oh, I do remember. It was a leadership conference. It was a leadership conference, and one of the individuals there had written for Huffington Post and Forbes magazine. And so I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, how do you get selected to write for Forbes magazine? That's just huge. And so I reached out and I had a conversation with her. And she shared with me, she said, well, you know what? I took these steps. I started out at this particular magazine that then took me to this magazine that took me to this magazine. I was like, okay, I'll just fill out the application, see what happens. So I filled out the application for Entrepreneur Magazine. And they said, you know, it takes like maybe 6 months. You might hear from them. They get so many inquiries that chances are you won't hear from them unless you've been selected. And so I filled out the paperwork, filled out the magazine. Filled out all of the requirements that they ask you for. And then I just went on about, you know, doing what I did. I said, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Well, weeks later, not months later, but weeks later, I get a letter saying, you've been selected to be a part of the Leadership Network, which means now you can write for Entrepreneur Magazine. And I'm going, oh my gosh, Entrepreneur Magazine? Are you serious?
Wow.
This is crazy. And so now every quarter I get to submit an article for Entrepreneur Magazine where it goes through their editing process, and then they send it to every entrepreneur magazine in the world. And, you know, that's over, I think like over 700 billion subscribers, something to that magnitude. It's just huge. And so,
It's so nice.
but now,
7 billion subscribers.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, right, okay. But it's things like that where it's like, wow, I wanted it, I asked for it, I never knew what was going to happen, and I just kind of picked out of 7 that she sent me. I said, oh, I'll try this one, and it happened to be Entrepreneur Magazine, and that's the one that. And so I'm just like, this is amazing. But again, right, it's those resources that come when you are constantly thinking about what's the next level, and then sending out that energy that says, okay, what's bigger than this, right?
Yeah.
What's bigger than this? And so, and that's how I look at it, and that's how it's actually worked for me in that regard. And then, I mean, that even led to now another magazine where I write for a blog in New Zealand. And I'm like, New Zealand? Really?
Ooh, I see a trip in your future, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But again, right, this is something that I didn't have on my goal list. It wasn't something that I was like, in 2 years I'm going to do this, or in 3 years I'm going to do that. It was just, continuously moving forward and seeing opportunities, and then just reacting to them, and
Yeah.
just seeing it out there, and then going on about my merry way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Going on about my business, and the universe just kind of delivers. And when it does, you're just in amazement because the math doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I make a point about that? Can I make a point and tie all what you just said together? So
Absolutely.
first of all, everybody can see, everybody in any of your interviews right now, they see your beautiful smile. They see you're so full of energy, and that's why you are attracting all this wonderful things to your life. And so I think it's important for people to understand that they're experiencing law of attraction right now in this very moment. Right now,
Yeah.
right now, you, me, we're all experience law of attraction, whether you know it or understand it or not. It already exists. You don't have to turn law of attraction on. It is already on. And so the important thing to know is that sometimes, so you might say that we're attracting by default, that we might not always like what we've been attracting. And so one of the key points here tonight for the people that are joining us is, if you want to attract more positive things in your life, Whitney said it. It's about noticing your thoughts and your emotions, right?
Yeah.
How am I thinking? How am I feeling? Because when you are in those giving places and you're grateful and excited and joyful and talking about what you want and excited about it, well, you're going to attract more positive things to your life. But those times when we're ticked off, we're sad, we're mad, well, unfortunately, and frustrated, just know that you're going to attract more of that too. So that is law of attraction. Now, if you want to be a deliberate attractor, if you want to attract something on purpose, in Jack's book, he talks about the 3-step formula, and that is to ask, believe, and receive. And you've heard examples here. In Cheryl's example, she thought she might want to write for a magazine. She got clear about what she wanted. She asked the universe for what she wanted. She gave it attention by reaching out to some people how can I get some resources here? She gave it some attention, energy, and focus. And then guess what? I heard Whitney say a little later, then you just go on, you let it go. And
Yep.
so for all of you figure outerers out there, it's not your job to figure it out. Right? As a matter of fact, when you are trying to figure out where it has to come from, it has to come from over here and over here, like Gabby said with Bob Proctor, then you are in that mode of resistance and it can't come to you. And so you have to get clear about what you want, spread all these high vibes, give it attention, and then you have to trust or believe that all with these wonderful things. And then a little later, I have this really cool story to share about Oprah when it comes to that. I don't know, you want me to share it now real quick? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
About that,
Sure.
about that
Yeah.
3-step process.
Mhm.
All right, so I just taught a class on attracting more money and abundance using law of attraction. I shared this story about Oprah. She was interviewed by Larry King many years ago on his program, and there is a YouTube video about it. So Oprah was telling Larry King about when that book came out, The Color Purple. Oh my gosh, she loved the book. She was so excited about that book. She absolutely adored the story and the characters, and she loved it and got so excited about it. And so, boy, she was raising her vibes about that book. Then she gave it her attention, energy, and focus. She bought a book for all of her friends and asked all of her friends to read this. Oh my gosh, you're going to love it. And now it just so happened, she attracted an audition to be in the movie The Color Purple. Oh my gosh, Cheryl, that's like you. Oh my God, Entrepreneurs Magazine, right? She attracted this audition. This was before Oprah had her thing on, I think on,
Her
you know,
show.
on television, yeah, her own show. So she auditions for the part, The Color Purple. She's so excited. She wants it so bad. She can taste it. She talks all about it. She just loves that story. Well, then she waits. And then she waits. And it's crickets. So now she's starting to experience doubt. Who am I to think that I could I could be in a movie in The Color Purple? Who am I to think that I could do that? And so now she starts experiencing all of these doubt and resistance. And what kind of vibe is that, ladies?
That's blocking it. Like
Yes, it's
it's not a
blocking.
good,
Yes.
yeah, that totally blocks what you have worked on
That's
all this
right.
time. Yeah.
It's a negative vibe.
Yeah.
Now, in Oprah's own words, she's telling herself, the story she's telling herself in her head is that she is too fat. So she goes to what she calls a fat farm. She goes out, she starts walking on the track around and around and around. She's singing and praying and crying, singing and praying and crying. And the song she's singing is something about I surrender. And can't you just
Oh,
feel the relief there? Just the relief in I surrender. Somebody runs out, says, Miss Winfrey, you have a phone call, and it was Steven Spielberg offering her the part. Is
yeah,
that not like a true law of
I know.
attraction story? As
I
soon
know.
as she let go of the
Go.
resistance, it came to her.
Yeah,
Gives me goosebumps.
I know.
Yes. Yes.
Universe, we are open. Our
Yeah,
receiving
we
valve.
we are open. Yeah, I don't know if it was Abraham Hicks or someone, one of the spiritual leaders. They said, if you are desperate, you are blocking what is coming to you. You have to believe, you have to have faith, and you have to surrender, you have to let go and keep moving, taking your action every day. But you have to have that faith and never lose that, because if you stop believing or you start like doubting, that is when you go backwards again. So yeah, I
You know,
agree.
the
Beautiful
other
story.
thing with that too is oftentimes when people want something, they want it when they want it,
I know.
right? It's like, I want it,
Yeah.
I want this to happen next week. It's got to happen by Friday. If it doesn't happen by Friday, I'm going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And so, and that's generally, right? That's human behavior, right? They want it when they want it. And if not, then this isn't for me. I'm going to go on and I'm going to want something else now. And so you haven't put your energy, you haven't put, your attention, you haven't put your focus to this thing that you truly want, because the reality is maybe it's not what you want, because if it is, then how can you leave it so quickly and then want something else?
Yeah.
And so we have to ask ourselves that question, right? What is it that I really want? And it doesn't have to be like for a lifetime. It could be, what do I want for this month, right? What are the things that I'd like to attract to myself at this point in time? And then put some focus to that. And because that gives you that clarity. And to what you were saying earlier, Jody, when we're desperate, we don't have clarity. When we're desperate, we don't have clarity, because there's this fog of desperation, like, oh my gosh, if this doesn't happen, then boom, boom, boom. And all those boom, boom, booms are negative things that are the counter effects of this thing not happening. And so
Right.
that's where I'm focused on, right? Those negative counter effects. And so it doesn't give you the ability to truly utilize, the resources that you have. And one thing that I think too is when people start talking about law of attraction, they always go, yeah, that's that pie in the sky stuff. And, you really have to, be on like another planet or, in order to see it happen. But when we, the four of us, can come here and go, this is how it has this is how it's happened. This is how it showed up for us. If you, to what you said before, right? Believe it, speak it, feel it, however you want to list those ways of being able to make it happen, then you have to know that it's going to happen, or else, you know, you're just in that boat of, okay, what's next?
So the interesting thing is that, and you're so right, Cheryl, the timing, there's a timing issue, right? And so the detachment that Jody mentioned, that is a part of it. And we are so wanting things to happen when we want, the way we want, right?
Yeah.
Because we're told as goal getters, goal setters,
Takers.
goal achievers, right? That to set SMART goals, that's what you do. That's part of the SMART goal process. But it goes beyond the SMART goal. Yes, you set that goal, you set it smartly, you put deadlines, but it goes back to our very first principle, which is we don't control the outcomes of things, right? And so when we take 100% responsibility for things, we're going to do our part. And then what happens, happens. We don't control what happens, but we do control our response to what happens. And so if our response to what happens after we've put out some energy, whether it's all the energy or some tiny minute part of the energy or somewhere in the spectrum, when we've done that and we don't get back what we think we said we wanted, or it doesn't come back the way we think it should look, or in the time frame, if we give up, I think that sends the message to the universe. One, you didn't want this as much as you said you did, right? Because you're not willing to work through the obstacles. You're not willing to work through delays. You're not willing to see it manifest in a way that maybe is not what you're thinking, but is much better, you know, infinitely better than whatever you thought you were getting. And so, you know, and I think, I don't know if this is a worldwide thing. I certainly know it's an American thing, that it has to be the way we want right now, or there's a problem. And there isn't a problem unless you quit, right? That's the only time there's a problem. And so you have to continue. You have to continue sending the message, living in the vibrational energy that says, this is what I want, and I'm going to stick with this as long as it takes. And some other principles that we'll be getting to are about asking and doing things different ways. And so maybe the way you've gone about it is not the way that makes it show up, right? Be willing to try something different, to ask in a different way, to ask different people. Because when you start with the doubts, now you've got conflicting thoughts going on, and the universe doesn't know what to do with
They
that.
cancel each other out.
Doesn't know what to do with that, because now you're all over the place. So you can acknowledge that it didn't happen in the time frame that you wanted. You can acknowledge, I mean, it is what it is, right? It didn't happen. And then get curious, ask some questions. What do I need to do now? Where do I go with this? How do I, you know, whatever questions need to be asked. And then what is the next step I need to take? I'm committed to this. What is the next step I need to take? And then listen for the answer. Give yourself some time, some space, and some grace to actually listen and be led to the answer.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. You know, Jack taught us something that I always, you know, do my best to remember. And it says high intention, low attachment.
Yes.
High intention, low attachment.
Low attachment.
You're not so attached to the results that it has to be this way that now they're not going to come because you're so resistant, right? So,
or that you don't recognize that it has showed up already.
There you go. Exactly.
and maybe it's already there and you don't recognize it, right?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we just don't see it because it didn't come wrapped in the package the way that we want it.
Mhm.
I wasn't clear enough.
Or you could have been really clear and that's not for your best and highest. Maybe that's not for your best and highest, or maybe it's not for now, right? No, it doesn't mean for a lifetime, but maybe you were clear, but maybe what your why underneath it, or what you said you wanted very clearly, is not really what's for you, or you're not prepared for what it is you want, which is happens a lot of times, right? You need to be prepared for the things that you're asking for. And sometimes it's time, it's experiences, it is other people coming into your life. There are all kinds of situations that show up that will prepare you for ultimately what you want. And, you know, if we look at, you mentioned Oprah Winfrey, just people in Hollywood or entertainment in general, right? That overnight successes are people who are not, they're not really overnight successes, right? They're people who have been putting in the time and work for a really long time, or even in business. Right. And so you're putting in work, you're successful. It's not quite what you had in mind, but you're, you know, by world standards, you're successful. You keep putting in work. And then you go from obscurity to, you know, now everybody knows your name. And it's like, oh, you're an overnight success. And I'm like, no, I've been at this for a really long time, right? And but I've been being prepared for this thing that I've asked for. So yes, I want what I want right now, but maybe right now is not, I'm not prepared for what I want right now. And it's going to take a little longer. But if you quit before you get there, you're never gonna know.
Yeah, you know, I am fortunate. I live in a coastal town in Florida, and for so long I was landlocked, living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I love that city. But I've always had the desire to get back here to Florida because the beach is like my happy place. You could tell from my picture back here. So so I was there, but I wanted to be here, and so that was my intention. But I didn't say, okay, I'm going to give up. But how y'all are talking about the timing, you know, when I look back, things had to line up for me. I had to meet my husband, and that helped financially. And then I started my own business. And so things have to line up for you, and eventually, you know, you'll get there. So, wow.
You know, because that goes back to all the energies. There's energies of 7 billion plus people on this planet, like going this like all over the place, right? Some of the things you want involve some of the energies of these other 7 billion people. Right. And so, and one of the things I've been really paying attention to, and someone had a meme posted the other day. I wish I should have written it down, but the paraphrase part of it is that there are no others. We're all one. We're interconnected, right? We're all wrapped up in the same energy, the same love. And some of us are spinning out of that because of our free will, you know, shifting us out of that. But at the essence, at the core, we are all one, and there are no others. And therefore, when you need something that involves other people, if they're not cooperating on their end, it could have impact, right? And so then it becomes about the alignment of all the energies and the timing of the things that you want with other people, and what them doing their part. And you know, sometimes we just need to take a deep breath, stop and take a deep breath. Just stop and take a deep breath.
And then get your pom-poms.
I know.
And it's like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, ladies, it showed that we have about 10 minutes left and we want to make sure that we stay on time for the folks. So, I don't know. Do you want to check in the Facebook group, see if there's any comments before maybe we each share one tip, one rock solid tip that might be helpful for folks before we leave?
We've had some really great input. People are saying, words matter. The interesting thing about the Facebook comments is that they don't allow you to see all of them all at the same time. You have to catch them. You sort of have to catch them as they fly in. But the comments have been really positive, agreeing with us about words mattering, and that, it's about energy and vibration and things.
Cool.
So.
Cool. Well, we certainly want to hear from people. So even after the program, or if you're watching on replay, please share your thoughts, your comments
Yes.
with us, and let us know if something was an aha to you, or something that you heard was a good reminder. So do you all you want to share, at least if we we want to leave folks with one rock solid thing that they can do to make sure that they're attracting all the positive, wonderful stuff in their life? Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. So I am subscribed to a lot of spiritual leaders. So one of the things they're saying in particular about COVID, why is it not going away quickly, is because that's what we're focused on. Oh my God, COVID, oh my God, COVID, oh my God, COVID. So the numbers are not going down, at least in some countries, and it's getting worse. So instead of thinking COVID and just watching TV 24/7, focus on healing. And the key is to keep our vibration high and our frequency high. That is the only way we can fight this pandemic, or we can fight anything else, is by always watching our thoughts and watching our emotions, and watching our thoughts, watching our emotions, and staying at a high frequency and keeping our vibration, watching our vibration at all times. The moment you feel worried or scared or like you're fearful, immediately switch off to something beautiful that keeps your vibration high, that keeps your frequency high. And also, whatever it is you wish to have in life or to manifest in life, just keep it there and release resistance. The universe will realign everything for you. So stay positive at all times, and the universe is always there to deliver. That's my thoughts.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's a great one.
Thank you.
Who's
Yeah,
up?
I'll go next. Keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Keep an open mind, because when you keep an open mind, it allows you to see things that you would not normally see.
Yeah.
When you are, so closed-minded, when you have a concrete mindset or a fixed mindset, when you're not allowing yourselves to think of the possibilities, or you're not allowing yourselves to think of other perspectives, or you're not even willing to have conversations about other perspectives and possibilities, then you shut yourself off.
Yeah.
You shut yourself off from being a recipient of what the universe is going to deliver to you, of being a recipient of what you can be, blessed with, whether it be through, a higher being, whoever you deem to be that thing or that person or that creator, or a person that has access, and you're cutting yourself off from even having a conversation. Right. And oftentimes, and I have conversations like this all the time, and sometimes I have no conversations because people be open enough to have the conversation. And so they miss out on a possible opportunity because they're like, oh my gosh, they can already kind of anticipate what the conversation is without even having the conversation. And then 9 times out of 10, you're absolutely wrong, because you don't know, because you didn't even take the time to go, let me hear what you have. Let me hear what you have to say. I've had many a conversations with somebody that, gosh, we were talking, the initial conversation was to be about A. And in that conversation, we ended up talking about B and C. And it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you did that. Right. Or I didn't know that you had that resource. And so we ended up, collaborating on something that was totally different from what we initially thought we wanted to have this conversation about. So being open-minded is what gives you the ability to seek out opportunities and resources. So I would say, stay open.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know from where your blessings are going to come from, or from who they're going to come from, or from which direction they're going to come from. So just
Absolutely.
be open-minded.
Yeah. Great.
Very good.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. The whole concept of being open to, I say, opportunities, possibilities, and potentiality, and being detached. Set your intention, give it your attention. Have expectation of what it is that you want and are putting your focus on, where energy, where focus goes, energy flows, right? Where attention goes, energy flows, where intention goes, energy flows, all of that. But then you have to detach from the outcome and then be willing to make some other efforts. And then I want to say, I'm going to put a link in the comments. I created a checklist of some of the things that we talked about here, about the law of attraction, and some things for you to keep in mind, like where, attention goes, energy flows. So some of the things we talked about are in that checklist. You can use that. So I want to say thank you. I know Jody's going to wrap this up and say thank you, but before we go, I want to say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So I think what you've heard from all of us too is the importance of monitoring your thoughts and emotions, because what you think about, you feel strongly about, you have an emotion, and law of attraction's in the business of matching the vibe that you're sending. So whatever it is, that motion that you are experiencing, and most people aren't aware of their emotions hour by hour, right? And of course they could change minute by minute, but most people aren't aware. And it would be really interesting just to, just to think about, where do you spend the majority of day? What percentage of your day would you think that you are experiencing positive emotions? The gratitude, the love, the joy, the happiness, all of those wonderful things. What percentage of your day are you in those positive emotions, versus the percentage of your day where you are experiencing negative emotions? And negative emotions could just be that you're sad, or you're frustrated, or you're ticked off, or this isn't working, and that's not night. Why don't I have that yet? And Tony Robbins, and it's really important for you to monitor that, because Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is the quality of your habitual emotion. And so start monitoring that. And I will even put a timer on my phone to do like a checkup from the neck up. Well, so okay, what have I been focusing on? Is it something I want or something I don't want? And how does that make me feel? So if that's what you need to do to be deliberate, then that's what you need to do to be deliberate, because you're only going to attract more of that emotion that you're experiencing right now. And I also want to say that it's okay to feel bad, because life happens to us, right? The universe doesn't say, well, look at this mastermind group. They teach success principles and law of attraction. Let's bring them all great stuff. No, it doesn't happen that way, right? Law of attraction its only job is to bring you match the vibe that you're putting out. So it's okay to feel bad. Things happen to us, but the key is to experience it briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly, right? So Gabby told her story, and I'm sure for a while she, felt bad and upset and, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But then look at how she responded. And so the key is to experience it briefly. And I'll just wrap up with a quote by Joel Osteen. He says, you can't keep negativity from coming, but you can keep it from staying. How about that one as a wrap up?
Powerful. I love Joel
Yay!
Osteen.
Oh, love you guys. My vibes are so high. They're like, open the door. Let some of the positive vibes out. Oh my
I know. I know.
Well, I hope everybody loved everybody that joined us tonight. We are so thankful and grateful. Or if you're watching us on the replay, let us know. And Whitney, thank you for putting together that checklist. That's really cool.
I know. Amazing. Thank you.
And also we'll put in the Facebook group how you can reach. You've heard that we each have our own special in our own niches and special areas. And so if you wanted to contact one of the girls or find out about one of their upcoming programs, we can put that in the group as well. Our next program, you might want to write this down and then put it in your calendar. I have Monday, June 28th. So we're always the fourth Monday of the month, I believe, Whitney. And who knows what our next topic is? I know Whitney.
I do not.
Is it Whitney?
I do not. I actually looked for it so I could put the new banner up, and next month isn't there. So I'm glad you said that.
I've got a sticky note. I scrambled right before class. Okay, here it is. Clean up your messes and incompletes.
That is my specialty.
Whoa! All right,
Who is leading? I think it is Cheryl leading this time, right? Who is leading?
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say good night to
Clean up
everybody.
your messes. Yeah. Okay.
We're so thankful and grateful for you joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, and share this video. Share.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.